Hey everybody, Steve Burns here. So we're going to get into exporting this out into our video format. There's one little thing I noticed I would like to make a little change to before we actually accomplish that. Is right up here is our fog is pretty neutral in tone. I think I would like it to take on the nature of my sky up there, which is more of a reddish, yellowish type of a feeling to it. So I'm going to apply directly to the layer a hue and saturation. I hit Command or Control U. Now, since there's no color there, nothing's going to be affected. Although, since there's tone there, I can affect the brightness of the tone. However, to colorize it, we're going to hit that colorize button. That's going to apply some type of an overall color. And if I actually bring this on up, and way over to the side, it's giving us kind of type of a reddish tone. So if I even let it go through the hue slider here, we can alter it to various hue, various colors. So I'm going to keep it there and click OK. All right. Now, it's like let's just undo that, and I'm going to apply that again. Command U once again. Let's apply a colorize. Let's go on over to the side. Bring the saturation up. Now, saturation in that last example was a little bit too much, so I'm going to bring the saturation down just slightly. Okay, remember we can adjust the brightness of this. If we bring down the tonality, I start to take on a little bit more of the color of what we have there, so that we have selected. Okay, all right, it's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to target OK. Let's go to the timeline. Let's talk about exporting this out. Okay, now to save time on exporting and also memory, it's better to flatten those images that need to be flattened at this point. So I'm thinking about all of the smart objects on the bottom, everything representing the landscape itself, and that's going to be more of the top half. This little half right up here, that's the little background there. That's my sky. So I'm going to go target these two, right click, and we're going to merge these layers. Okay, all right, and you see nothing's changed. We're just consolidating things together so we can we take less RAM to actually render this out. So I'm going to hit Command Shift S, all right, and then we're going to call this Composite for Render. All right, so I don't mess up my original one. Always saving, keeping all the tip options the same, just leaving default. Now I'm going to look at these top layers here. Now here is my, I'll take a look at these, make sure I have my videos untouched, which is going to be, that's one of them here. Now if you want to, we can just pull this on over, we can see which ones they are, because MVI, movie video file, I'm not quite sure what that stands for. That is our video, so I'm going to put, that's our MOV file. All right, I'm going to just type in MOV here, so it's easy to assess that that's what we're going to not affect. Now right down here we have our lighthouse, and I'm going to click on that again, which is a standard smart object. So I think what I'll do there is I'm going to right click and I'm going to rasterize that object. So right click and rasterize that layer. Okay, now that's going to drop out a lot of extra information so that it's less memory. So the two that I'm worried about are just the MOV files, and of course this is being animated. Okay, so on the very top, let's turn on our eyeball for that. Let's turn that back on. All right, so now I think we're ready. Now if I look at the bottom, here we go, that's looking good. I have that. In fact, I can probably merge these two together. I didn't animate the fog in the background. I'll keep it there for now. I suppose I can merge these two layers, but now this is a lot less memory. I'm going to, let's go ahead and reduce the size of this layer just a little bit. Now we need to determine where we're going to begin and where we're going to end. These little sliders right here at the very top of your timeline, right below your your time code, are your in and out points. So this one to the far left, I'm going to place in the, keep it over to the far left, and then I'm going to go to the scroll bar and scroll all the way over. Now this actually goes all the way out here. The bottom layer is a long video. However, over to the right, we get to see my out point. So I'm going to click and hold and drag it on over, bring it on over, and I'm going to decide to stop it right there. All right, so if I scroll down, let's go ahead and pull this video upward a little bit. And wrong layer. Pull that up a little bit. We can see that everything stops pretty much right there. Our shortest video. We're going to actually stop it there at the end. Okay, now it's going to start over here, and it's going to stop right here. Now, the further initiate, a more effective render in terms of, less memory consumption, we're going to reduce the size of our video. Go to my image size, and we're going to take this down to something that's under 2000K. All right. So if I go over here and select pixel count, I get a 2K file. I'm going to make sure that those two are linked together. And let's take this down to something like a 1000 pixel. Okay, which only is 1000, or let's say 1024. Let's keep it a standard video mode. So 1024 by 778 is what this one's going to be. Okay, that's going to reduce it down quite a bit. When I click OK, there it is. See, it's just dropped it down. So now I'm going to save this as another file, video render reduced. So now I have a third file that shows the reduction of the size. Keep it as a TIFF file, and there we are. Now at this point, we're going to render this out. File menu, export, and we're going to render video right here at the bottom. Target it. Relax, there we go. Now we want the H.264 format, okay, or we can go to the QuickTime. H.264 is a type of a QuickTime format. It's the most reliable, and we got a low quality preset. We can change that at any time. Here are all my different options. Android phone, HD, 1028 by 25 or 24 frames a second, NTSC widescreen, okay. So I'm going to keep it low quality for default so I can render this very quickly. And everything else I'm going to keep the same. But what we need to do is tell it where to render to. So I'm going to click on the folder here. And I'm going to make a new folder inside my original images folder, which is actually where I'm pulling all my files from for this project. But you can place them wherever you like. And we're going to call this one Final Render. Okay. We're going to take it there, make sure that's in the final render folder. That's correct. And render this. And we're going to just sit back and watch the progress bar go. Now see how fast it's going? If we didn't reduce this video down, it will be going very, very slow. It will take a lot more time. All right. So we're going to let this finish render, and then we'll take a look at the image or the video file. All right, so I'm inside my final render folder here. I'm going to double click it and take a look at it and see what we've done. There we go. Obviously the fog is moving a little bit, well, I don't know, moving a little bit too fast. Let's go in here and let's repeat this so that we can keep rendering it over and over again. So if I increase the length of my fog, I can slow it down. So just double or triple the length of the fog, and so that it will start to move a little bit slower than what we have here. So it's repeating and going back and repeating, but this gives you an idea of how you can use video as part of your composites. So once again, it doesn't have to be a beach scene, but you can use any type of moving objects. You can get a foreground where there's moving people in it, composite it into a whole nother background. It could be a sci-fi scene, it could be a fantasy scene. I'm going to allow you guys to create what you like, but make sure that your image looks convincing. like everything belongs there. So keep in mind your perspective. We spent the first 2 or 3 weeks on perspective. So honor perspective. Think, look, when you composite things together, make sure that everything looks as if they belong together. Within the perspective in that scene, watch your lighting and so forth. Okay. All right. So have fun with the project.